What's going on, guys? It's Amir's Pickleball here. Welcome to the channel. This is my first video, and I decided to make a review on a paddle that I've been using for about 2 months now, and this is the Onix X Pro. Yeah, I picked this up about 2 months ago at Dick's Sporting Goods. So yeah, guys, without further ado, let's jump into the review. All right, guys, so let's talk about a few key specs here. So this is an elongated shape, and it is 14 millimeter. So some more key specs here is it is a raw carbon fiber face layup right here, and the core is polypropylene. So next, let's talk about price. This right here comes in at $119.99 before shipping and taxes and stuff like that. I don't think there is any type of discount or anything on it, or I don't know if it goes any lower than that. They do have another version of this paddle that is without the carbon fiber layup, and I do not recommend that one. They're charging $89.99, so yeah, it is like $30 cheaper, but I'm telling you, you want this grit right here. You definitely want the carbon fiber face. All right, guys, so now we're gonna throw in some ratings here. And this is respective to being a budget-friendly paddle. So for control, I would give it a 3.75 out of 5. For spin, 4.5 out of 5. Pop and power is gonna be 4 out of 5. Feel and forgiveness would be 3 out of 5. And for sweet spot, I would say 3.5 out of 5. So let's look at some of the lows and highs. So the lowest score was for the feel and forgiveness. I will say this paddle is not a very forgiving paddle. I would say it's like average at best, and that's kind of why I gave it an average score, is because it's not the most forgiving paddle I've ever played with. So the highest rating I gave was actually for spin. The spin on this paddle, guys, is awesome, especially if you're at the beginner to low intermediate level. It is very fun to play with. And yeah, I've been playing with it for 2 months and it's still very gritty. I do use a paddle eraser about every other time. So yeah, highly recommend. If you're looking for spin, this is definitely it. Also, I do want to talk about the pop and power. This has a lot of good pop and power, especially if you're already at the kitchen. For flicks especially, it is really good. All right, guys, so let's talk about the pros and the cons for on-court playability. So let's start off with the cons. This paddle does take a lot of time to dial in on resets and drops. And also the sweet spot, I would say it's a bit small for my liking. I wish it was a little bit larger in the sweet spot. And pretty much what that means is whenever I hit the ball, like a good sweet spot would kind of come very close to this edge here. So if I hit an off-center shot by accident, it's not gonna fly in a weird way. Unfortunately, with this paddle, it's kind of a small sweet spot, I would say, but it's pretty easy to dial in. But I do wanna throw that in there that it is a small sweet spot, in my opinion. Also, with that, this paddle is not a very forgiving paddle on off-center shots. So as I said, I mean, if you are not hitting it almost dead center, the ball is gonna be really weird. It's gonna kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but it's gonna be less predictable the more off-center you do go. So let's talk about the pros. This paddle instantly made me a better player, especially at the beginner level. I mean, this has great spin, especially on serves and quick flicks at the kitchen, and that is thanks to the carbon fiber layup here. Great power, especially when you need it, but it still has that decent control on your dinks and your drops once you dial that in. But I will say, really good firepower on this, thanks to it being a 14 millimeter. So you do definitely have really good power and pop there. So this begs the question, who is this paddle for? Mainly for beginners, and the reason why I say beginners is because I feel like as a beginner, most people go for, really heavy control paddles, but I feel like you should honestly try to shoot for a more powerful paddle so you can learn how to dial in your power and learn how to keep all your balls in, as well as forcing you how to reset against tougher opponents. I think the quicker you learn how to do that, the quicker you're going to move up in your duper rating, because your control paddle, it's going to be very hard for putaways. It's going to be very hard for people to really like respect you in terms of playing against bangers. I mean, they're just going to, hit the ball really hard towards you all the time, and you're not going to be able to really do anything. You're just going to be playing their game. And I think with how the game is going, you really need to try to get something with a little bit more firepower nowadays. So that being said, from beginner to low intermediate, I feel like past low intermediate going into intermediate, I would say I would look into a different paddle in my opinion. But if you are coming off of like a basic paddle, like I mean those Franklin $10 paddles that you get at Target or Walmart, this is the paddle you want to get. And that's what I did. I went ahead and I went from a really cheap paddle. I was playing like complete garbage. And then I went ahead and spent a little bit more money on this. And I've been playing with it for 2 months now. I did get a new paddle. You guys are going to have to wait until the next video. I've been playing with it for a few weeks. But I have been playing with this. And this one took me from a beginner to a low intermediate player. And I will say it has done me very well. So yeah, if you're a beginner player looking for more spin, more power, also if you are on a budget, I would highly recommend this paddle right here. All right guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, please show your support by giving a like and subscribe. I will definitely appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.